remember in 2010, A Space Odyssey? It was the sequel to 2001, Space Odyssey. It came out in 1984, I think, about 15 years after Stanley Kubrick's original 2001, Space Odyssey. Can't remember who directed 2010. Anyways, in 2010, the astronauts went out to the abandoned spaceship that was orbiting Jupiter. And one of the astronauts entered a special chamber. It was mostly red, and there was a lot of glass. And the glass was the hardware. Glass monoliths, so to speak, that came out of the walls. And it was the brain of the HAL 9000. Inside the glass was the sophisticated technology, the artificial intelligence that ran the entire spaceship. That was the brain of HAL 9000. The super sentient computer. That was the mind of the spaceship. This piece of chocolate is a mind. It's why I kept it in the glass this whole time. I could power a spaceship to fly to the end of the galaxy with this piece of chocolate. Because in this piece of chocolate is being. It's like a 0-point energy, where the entirety of the energy of the universe is concentrated in a piece of chocolate. And we know this when we bite into a piece of chocolate and we feel that ecstasy permeating our mouth, into our brain, throughout our body. We just keep eating the chocolate and the chocolate. But I'm protecting this piece of chocolate. I know it's 0-point energy to power the universe, to power my spaceship to go wherever I want. But the problem is, until I bite into this piece of chocolate, I will be forever estranged from this piece of chocolate. It will always remain potential. You know those girls who say, I don't date potential? Evidently, I'm dating potential because I'm not biting into the chocolate. Now, this chocolate came all the way from Fiji. I heard that it was in Fiji, and I went to Fiji. I got a flight. I took the red eye. I flew all the way to Fiji, and I got this. This is made in the kitchen of a very elite spiritual practitioner, a former devotee of Adi Da Samraj, who many believe was like the 7th avatar, Maitreya, and all that good stuff. He attained a degree of realization heretofore unprecedented, and I got the chocolate from his kitchen. And I've kept it in this plexiglass container, like the HAL 9000 mind that would power a spaceship to traverse the universe. But I'm not dating this chocolate, I'm dating potential. And as long as I date potential, I will never be fulfilled. I will always be estranged from being, from my higher self, because this chocolate is not going in my mouth. But every once in a while, once a week, once a month, depends on my temperament, how I'm feeling, I'll open it up and I'll pull it out. I won't eat it. Because if I eat this piece of chocolate, then the extraordinary is realized as the ordinary. The ecstasy comes, the ecstasy goes. It's impermanent. But as long as I don't eat the chocolate, I'm always dating the potential of the chocolate. Someday there will be consummation. The extraordinary will become ordinary by means of orgasm. But until that moment, the extraordinary must always remain at arm's length in a plexiglass container. And you see it's a little bit off center, so I should probably open it up and center the piece of chocolate. You see. I bet you'd date potential. I bet you wouldn't eat this chocolate if you knew it could power a spaceship like the mind of HAL 9000 artificial supercomputer. Artificial intelligence. special tongs. This has a little bit of a hair. Evidently there's hairs floating in the environment. There's special nuts in here. There's chocolate. A little icing on top. I'm going to resituate it in the center. I'm going to date this potential. Have you ever noticed that about the extraordinary? How if you really embrace the extraordinary and achieve the extraordinary, attain the extraordinary, metabolize the extraordinary, it becomes ordinary and then you die. Because you realize that your true aversion to the ordinary is really your fear of death. That if something from the other part of the planet comes over here, this piece of chocolate from Adi Da Samraj's devotee's kitchen is now here. It's not on the other side of the world, it's now here. It was really potential over there. It was a long distance relationship. I knew about this chocolate. I read about it in a special magazine for enlightenment. Now, I'm a little concerned also because it's like when you dig up mummies from the pyramids and you expose them to air after they've been buried for 5,000 years, then it's like the decay process sets in. I'm concerned about this chocolate. I'm also concerned that if I take proper care of the chocolate, it will last until the end of time. That people after me, my successors, so to speak, my spiritual progeny, so to speak, will venerate this piece of chocolate, will date this potential, and never sink their teeth into its ecstasy. It will always remain the extraordinary at arm's length, because if you realize the extraordinary, remember, you die. Because you realize the extraordinary is ordinary. You realize the potential is now actual, and you've just got to break up. This relationship is not meant to last. There are so many internal problems. The fluid dynamics of the vis-a-vis, the tete-a-tete. No, it's not working. I gotta go. I want to date other people. I want to have more potential with more people. I never want to consummate actuality. It's a shitty situation to find yourself in. But what I've been thinking about lately is maybe I will die. Maybe I will take a bite and realize the ordinary. Do you know that as soon as you can sell the extraordinary on the other side of the planet, or maybe it's on the other side of the country or on the other side of the county, as soon as you can sell the extraordinary that's over there, you can make a killing. You can't sell the ordinary. You've always got to date potential. Right? How can you sell the ordinary actual? The ordinary actual, man, that shit's just death. Who wants to buy death? Anybody? Anybody want to buy death? No. I am courting some serious spiritual danger by flying out to Fiji, getting this chocolate from the kitchen of Adi Da Samraj's devotee, bringing it back to the United States and holding on to it. I'm thinking to myself, coming up with the machinations in my imaginations about how I'm going to use this chocolate to traverse the universe. But I gotta die. Man. Bam. I gotta die. Bam. I gotta die, man. How is the extraordinary going to become the ordinary unless I die? But here's the thing I've been thinking about lately. I take a bite of the chocolate. Do I gotta finish the chocolate? At some point, I gotta finish the chocolate. And where am I then? What is the ordinary? You don't even know what the ordinary is, man. You're so afraid of the ordinary, you're gonna fly to Fiji to get your piece of chocolate and traverse the universe with your extraordinary orgasm. You're just trying to avoid death all the time. All the time. I want to hold on to this like it's my heart. I want to put it right here, like the Iron Man, and have that energy right here in my heart. And I can take on the Incredible Hulk. I can take on these Ultrons and all the Thanatos and all these Marvel villains, super villains. Because I got the chocolate of potential right here in my heart. I got the extraordinary that hasn't been actualized. It's still here. But I really wonder, can I become a superhero? A Superman? An Ubermensch? If I bite the extraordinary chocolate from the other side of the world and traverse the universe and find myself in the ordinary and realize the extraordinary nature of the ordinary, what's also called ordinary mind. Iron Man and the ordinary mind. Iron Man and the ordinary mind. Do I want ordinary mind? Do I want ordinariness? Is there such a thing? That's the million-dollar question at the heart of our need for the extraordinary. Is there anything called the ordinary? Look at that closely. You fly to the other side of the world, you pick up a piece of chocolate from the kitchen of a devotee of Adidas Amraj. You fly back to the United States, you put it in a plexiglass, and you worship it. You date the potential of the chocolate. You bite into the chocolate, you eat the chocolate, the orgasm of taste, the ecstasy pervades your body, mind, and it's over. Now you're back, you're in the ordinary. Oh, God, I gotta go get another piece of chocolate from Fiji. But do I? Isn't it all a matter of perspective? Isn't someone in Fiji really wanting to fly over here to the United States and pick up a banana peel? And whoa, isn't that the most extraordinary thing? How appealing. And makes them bananas. How fruity. What if there were no such thing as the extraordinary? Wouldn't you have to invent it? If there were no such thing as the extraordinary, would there be an ordinary? If there were only extraordinary, wouldn't you get so bored with it? Wouldn't it be so banal, trite, hackneyed, cliche that you'd have to invent the ordinary, and by comparison the ordinary would become the extraordinary because you were bored out of your mind with the old extraordinary, the familiar extraordinary? How fucking silly. Looks like I need a spiritual guru to figure this out for me. But then that would be the extraordinary realization granted to me by a guru telling me how to shift my perspectives and find out the truth, which is something other than what is now. But how could that be? It would just be the movement of my mind from the familiar ordinary to the unfamiliar extraordinary and back again, over and over and over and over and over and over, unless the ordinary is the extraordinary and the extraordinary is the ordinary. And there's an interpenetration of opposites. And why would that be the case? Why? How? Where? When? Do I need the extraordinary? Isn't the ordinary the most extraordinary thing? If I bring my extraordinary mind to it? And how could my mind be extraordinary? Not how could my mind be extraordinary. My mind is extraordinary. Consciousness is extraordinary. All this time, I've been thinking it was the chocolate inside the plexiglass. But it's really the plexiglass that's extraordinary, because it's so ordinary. And now I see it newly for the first time. And now the chocolate is so trite and banal. It's so ordinary. It used to be extraordinary, now it's ordinary. And how extraordinary that there's been a shift of the status. I just did that with my extraordinary mind, but my mind is the mind I've had every day. How ordinary is my mind? It's now extraordinary. What happened? What happened? It became illuminated. Oh, with what? The HAL 9000 inside me, the supercomputer of the cosmos, artificial intelligence, beep, 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 beep. Or was my ordinary mind extraordinary all along? Let me show you what I do when I'd like to see my extraordinary, ordinary mind. I pull it out of my ear. Noodle by noodle by noodle by noodle, all the convolutions of my neocortex flattening out because I'm drawing them out of my ear. And here they are. Can you see them? Can you see my extraordinary, ordinary mind, my ordinary, extraordinary mind? Like a magician, like a sorcerer, painting the sky with meaning. Painting your mind.